I am normal. I don't need a prefix. Good for you. It's still cis. Hey Spuds, it's Jamie. Welcome back to another video. First video on the channel. I don't know, but welcome either way. And today I am very glad to be doing today's video. I love today's video. It is a palate cleanser. It is a refresher. It is a cool spoon of sorbet in between courses. Is that a thing? I don't know. But today we are looking at good trans anatomy. Oh yes. If it wasn't already obvious, this is the opposite to bad trans anatomy, because we look at bad trans anatomy, we look at bad women's anatomy, bad cis anatomy. Try saying that really fast, it's difficult. We look at all the bad anatomies, but I do like to look at the good stuff too. This isn't just anatomy, this is basically just people getting things right about trans people, or nice things being said, or affirming things being said or done, and that's what we're looking at today, because I feel like we need a bit of trans positivity right now, so let's go. I like how in the context of trans affirming care, successful treatment in 99% of cases is treated as dangerous, whereas in all other areas of healthcare, a 99% success rate would be treated as an absolute miracle. Oh my god, the amount of times that I have said something similar to this. I've not said it as well as this person has said it, but yes, the success rate for treatment being positive and good and the right thing and improving quality of life in trans people is extremely high, and when compared to other medical procedures and things, it is still extremely high, but yet transphobia means that people still complain about it. That was a very weird noise. I don't know what's happening, I feel like a goat. Anyway, there was a quote retweet to that saying, having a child has a 7% regret rate. A knee replacement has anywhere between a 6 to 30% regret. Across all types of surgery, the regret rate is 14%. Transition and trans-related surgeries have a 1% regret rate, or under 1%. Like seriously, comparing it all, it is just blindingly obvious that the only reason anybody has an issue with medical transitions and trans people at all is transphobia. It's got nothing to do with protecting people or making sure people don't do the wrong thing. It is literally transphobia. And this is great. We need to see more of this information being pushed. Yes. You don't see the media writing articles of thousands of people regret their new knee. If transphobia stopped existing tomorrow, the lives of trans people would improve immensely. Oh my god. Yes. If trans people stopped existing tomorrow, transphobes would move on to talking about the gay issue. That is so painfully true. Because this is what's being said all along, right? It's not actually about trans people. It's not actually about protecting kids. It's not about protecting women's rights. Because attacking trans people doesn't help either of those things. It actually makes them worse. It is just about transphobia. It is just about people picking on the popular minority to pick on right now. Take trans people out of the equation. Wouldn't impact transphobes' lives, except they would have to find a new thing to obsess over that didn't impact their lives, which would probably be gay people. And actually, we're already seeing it. There's literally now a disagreement between some of the most well-known gender-critical TERFs, because there's now an attack on lesbian rights in countries like Italy, and some TERFs are like, yeah, this is correct, and others are like, no, and they're even going against the whole like biological reality matters thing. Yeah, that's an interesting one to see, because what have people been saying? What have trans people and trans allies been saying for the longest time? It's transphobia, there's no need for people to be doing it, but it's also not just transphobia. Attacking trans people is a foot in the door to just general bigotry and taking away the rights of multiple other minority groups. So we've seen transphobia, and now the homophobia is starting to seep in, and it's just going to get more and more. If transphobia stopped existing, that would be fabulous. A small anti-transgender rights protest is drowned out by a larger counter-protest outside Parliament House in Hobart. I did hear about this. It was great. It just didn't work. So many people went out to counter-protest these transphobes, and it was fabulous. And we see it time and time again. Like, there's multiple instances of transphobes like showing up to things or protesting things or whatever, and just the pro-trans element is just overwhelmingly large, and we see huge turnouts of like 30,000 people plus to trans prides this year, and we see 10 people standing outside a Primark for the anti-trans protests. It really is just a very loud minority, and this is why it's important to show up if you can, if it's safe for you to do so. Showing people that actually the majority are trans supportive, or at least like neutral. Let's face it, most people don't actually care, which in itself, like, if those people cared, that would help a lot, but they're not anti-trans. It's it's like this tiny little minority that are just incredibly loud, and the right people with the right amount of like power, money and sway have been saying some transphobic things, and it's gained some traction. But in reality, it's just a bunch of obsessed people with nothing better to do, shouting hateful things into a microphone to 3 other hateful people, and then there's just thousands of lovely pro-trans and trans people being like, no, stop being transphobic. Transphobic women aren't women. That's why there's a word in front of it. Oh yeah, I can't remember where this was. I feel like this was on a video of mine. Somebody commented this. Yeah, I think I was reacting to something else. I can't remember. But I do remember a comment of like, trans women aren't women. That's why there's a word in front of it. It's like, well, short women aren't women. That's why there's a word in front of it. And then somebody else came up with a much better comeback of like, well, transphobic women aren't women. That's why there's a word in front of it. Someone got very confused. It's mocking the logic of transphobes. And they said, I don't like how they are saying transphobic women aren't women. That's like misgendering a transphobe. It's not right. They are women. We shouldn't invalidate someone's gender. And that's the whole point. Like, just because there's a word in front of women for trans women does not mean they're not women. And I thought this was a perfect example, because it's like showing it's just an adjective. Using an adjective in front of something does not invalidate the something it's in front of. Like blonde, like short, like tall, like transphobic. My parents are against transgenderism. Transgenderism. That word belongs in bad trans anatomy. Transness. For or against. Snow. For or against. The succession of seasons. For or against. The Earth's revolution around the sun. For or against. What's your point? Being against the existence of an observable aspect of life won't make it cease to exist. Snow. You for or against it? Against snow. Yeah, but there is snow in the world, right? I agree with this. This is a very good point. I also like that jacket. It's very trans flag themed. Little cats sticking out the pockets. That's what it looks like. Not real cats, but that would be even better. I think this is a very important point to make. It's like there are transphobic people out there. We can't force people to change their views. But what is particularly frustrating is when people think that their views are enough evidence or have enough weight behind them to then allow them to invalidate the existence of other people and other people's experiences and identities. It's just because you don't like something, just because you are not something, just because you don't agree with it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I think there's a big difference. Like, if someone stands up and is like, yeah, I just don't like trans people. I get that trans people are a thing in this world, but I don't like them. I'm gonna go sit and get on with my own life whilst not liking trans people. Fine. I'm not here to change your mind. What is the most annoying thing is when people stand up and they're like, I don't like trans people, and therefore I don't think trans people exist, and I'm going to stand with a microphone and shout it and say to other people that trans people don't exist and spout a lot of bullshitting lies about why they don't exist. That's very frustrating. Language is a gift. This was posted in the subreddit Scottish People Twitter. Why are you so sick of another, I'm not going to say that word or show it, very rude, gender, as if it's any of your business. Sitting up at night, foaming at the mouth, thinking about another folks' genitals like weirdo. Yeah, why? Why are you so obsessed with us, transphobes? Suspicious much? There is like a really uncomfortable level of obsessive thinking and behaviour coming from certain transphobes or types of transphobes, where it's like, do you do anything else with your life? Do you do anything else with your day? Do you just go for a walk in nature and have a think sometimes? Do you stare up at the clouds and see what shapes they make? Because maybe that would be a better hobby than being hateful. Gender GP. A brand new study has revealed that trans women hold no biomedical advantage in elite sports. Shocking that. This is huge for inclusion in sports and creating evidence for trans inclusion. Now let's start seeing those bans rolled back and people talking sense. A new study has revealed that trans women do not have any biomedical advantage in elite sports. Trans people, including trans women, have been able to compete at Olympic level in the correct gender category, so trans women with women, since 2004, and have obviously been competing in non-Olympic level athletics and sports, but from before then, right? No issue. No world sports domination by trans women, okay? Not happened. And we've seen time and time again reports coming out saying these are the measures that are taken to ensure as much fairness as can be ensured. And really, with this whole thing about trans women, we're also seeing cis women being discriminated against for having more masculine features and being picked upon. And it's not just unfair on trans women, also cis women. And there's actually no evidence to suggest that this this should even be happening, and the 2 decades of non-Olympic level sports domination by trans women should also provide evidence for that as well. This is just one of those other things that people have picked up on. It's like trans kids, bathrooms, and trans women in women's sports. Those are like the 3 big things. They're like the transphobic trilogy. Yeah, and it's just kind of bizarre. All of the evidence suggests that what transphobes are doing, it's just shitty and has no basis to it. But yeah, there you go. Trans women, no advantage in elite sports. Lesbian dating app Her tells all transphobic users to delete their accounts. A message for transphobes. Time to delete Her. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Yeah, in a time when we're seeing like more and more like TERF only spaces and like trans exclusionary spaces, it's nice to see a transphobe exclusionary space, because there should not be a space for hate. Space should not be made for people who are just hateful bigots and who are hating upon a group of people for no reason and no benefit to them, no benefit to anybody, just horribleness. I'll never get my head around transphobia, seriously. And lots of other types of discrimination. Never get my head around homophobia or racism or sexism. I don't understand why people are shits to other people just because there's differences. Heh, T-slurs, am I right? Oh, I can make a keyboard sound. Oh no! Dude, not cool. That's kind of offensive. Oh, okay, so I'm assuming like a transphobic troll getting called out for being transphobic online. Nah, I'm being bullied. Yeah, sure. Alas, it seems like the oppressed have become the oppressors. So be it, transsexuals. You have turned a potential ally into a powerful enemy. This is so accurate. Getting softly called out for a transphobic joke, just being like, yeah, maybe don't go down that route. And then victimizing yourself and not just doubling down, but like quadrupling down and going full transphobe. Nice. I mean, someone was just helping you be an ally, so I don't think you ever would have been a potential ally. I think that was just a falseness to try and make yourself feel better. Conservatives can't fathom progressive parents having an actual dialogue with their kids and treating them with autonomy, so they automatically assume the libs are transing kids because it's exactly what they do with religion and ideology. That really would explain why there's this subset of like very right-wing, often religious, but I appreciate that being religious does not automatically mean you're going to be transphobic or homophobic, but there is often a kind of hand-holding between those two for a lot of people. But yeah, it does explain why there's a lot of very right-wing, very religious people who think that if a kid comes out as trans or expresses anything like that, that the parents are forcing it upon them. And is that because they don't allow their kids to have autonomy in thinking and what they like and what they do? Is that part of the reason? I've seen quite a lot of things of like, if you want to talk about true indoctrination, and then it's showing videos of like kids just like full on breaking down over religious events and things and being scared or just like crying uncontrollably, and it's like, what is going on? And then like young kids being given a microphone and being told to like, hey, go say something hateful, and you can tell they're just like spewing out exactly what they've been told to say. But when it comes to like trans kids, these are kids who've come forward and said that. You can't read somebody's mind and tell that they're trans. Like, it's not something that many people automatically jump to an assumption of if their child behaves in a certain way. Like, typically it's like most parents will be accommodating of their kid being like non-conforming in some way, right? And then it's up to the child to independently say how they're feeling. It's very much child-led, not parent-led. But I get it, because if you are a parent who lives in a household where everything your child does is led by you, then maybe you have a different viewpoint and you don't quite understand a child-led perspective on life. If cis people don't want us using the Latin prefix cis, meaning same side of, we could always use the Greek synonym homo instead. Trans people would be heterogender and cis people would be homogender. Problem solved. Wow. Oh my god. I'm het. That feels weird. These are your two options. You can either be cisgender or homogender. I'm pretty sure a lot of cis people, like transphobic cis people, are gonna go for cis. If they have to make a choice, they'll still say neither. They'll still be like, there does not need to be anything because I am normal. I don't need a prefix. Good for you. It's still cis. Or homo. If you can call Pokemon different names after they evolved, have the same energy for trans folks, honestly, it's that simple. I'm learning so much today. This is a very good take. Everybody automatically assumes that all cats are girls. We have 2 boy cats, and everybody who meets them for the first time always uses she, her pronouns for our cats. We're like, I mean, they're cats. They don't really mind. We'll just kind of casually, if we are then referring to the cats, use their name and he, him pronouns, right? And people then just switch over. They're like, oh, sorry, for some reason I just assumed that all cats are girls. And then straight away, he, him for the kiddies after that. You see, it is doable. It is very much doable, like with Pokemon, like with cats. Let's be respectful. Laverne Cox honoured with Mattel's first transgender Barbie. When I'm making this, the Barbie movie's only just come out, but you're probably not going to watch it for a few weeks. This happened over a year ago, and I just thought it was, a cool moment, so I wanted to include it. Good trans anatomy, trans Barbie, like, nice. But also, there's been like something where, I think a Christian organisation has gone like, oh, Barbie's pushing the trans agenda with the movie, and it's like, look, mate, they were doing this over a year ago. Did you say anything back then? Probably not. It's just like transphobia has gotten set. Like 2023 is an abysmal year for trans people. There's so much transphobia right now. They're very loud. Here we go. Trans Barbie. Over a year ago. Nice. And that's where we're ending today's video on trans Barbie. Woo. Did we like it? Do we like looking at good trans anatomy? I like looking at good trans anatomy. I will get some more stuff together to do another one very soon, because I think it's nice to look at this regularly and just like lift spirits. I know there's like some negative stuff in there as well. I'm waffling now. If you do come across any examples of good trans anatomy, drop me a DM on Insta, tag me on Twitter, or wherever else you can send me stuff. I don't know, but link it down. It might not allow you to do link in a YouTube comment. I don't know. I'm sure you'll find a way to send it to me if you want to, but there's no pressure. And there's also no pressure to like and subscribe if you want to. You don't have to. I said that sentence completely the wrong way around. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.